You like that?
Hello, baby.
You like that?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Lion Villain Report, where we don't sugarcoat anything. I am your host. I am the 313 villain. My name is Russell Wayne. I am the UDFA of sports podcasting. I am the unwanted. No silver spoon. I'm just a super fan with a microphone talking about his favorite Detroit sports teams. Detroit, welcome to Villain Report Live. And if you love the Detroit Lions, start me out by hitting hell yeah in that comment section. Today is not just another day, and tonight is not another night. This weekend is not just another weekend. It's a Detroit double feature. Across the diamond, our Tigers are fighting for their season. Game 5 against the Mariners. Winner moves on. Loser goes home. And we got Skubal on the hill, baby. Ice in his veins. The ace of the 313 is ready to send Seattle packing. Well, they can just stay in Seattle. The Tigers can move on to the ALCS. The city of Detroit is alive, and the Tigers, if they bring it home tonight, we might just set the town on fire, but not literally. Don't do that. But that's not all. When the sun sets on Sunday night and the lights come up in Arrowhead, the Lions take center stage. The Chiefs are desperate. They're limping right now. They're looking for answers. And the Villain's theory, they're about to run into a buzzsaw wearing Honolulu blue. No fear. no mercy. The Goffense slicing through the kingdom. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the sun god. Sonic and Knuckles, the two-headed monster, and the defense hungry, violent, and ready to make Mahomes remember what real pressure feels like. Detroit's got 2 fights this weekend. On the mound, under the lights, and on the same mission: survive, advance, and dominate. So grab your drink, lock in your comments. Let's roll, Villain Squad. Because tonight, the 313 owns the spotlight. And as always, the mic is open for people who matter. You, drop your takes. Drop your questions, ideas in the comments. Let's talk grit. Let's talk growth. And let's talk on how Dan Campbell and his crew plans to storm the kingdom. This episode is brought to you by Fanatics.com. If you're rocking with the 313 and you bleed Honolulu blue, then you need to gear up like the real one over at Fanatics, our official merch partner. I'm talking Lions jerseys, blackout hoodies, throwback Tigers gear, WWE gear, Red Wings drip so icy that it should come with a Zamboni. So here's what you do. You click that link in the comments, save up to 25% off of your order from our affiliate marketing partners at Fanatics. Every click supports the channel, the page, and lets everyone know that Detroit fans do it bigger and better. The Villain Squad, we don't do knockoffs. We do official. We do Fanatics. Get yours. And connect with me. That's right. Detroit Villain Squad. We just crossed over 85,000 strong on our Facebook. We're climbing fast. Help us storm the castle of 100,000 followers. So on Facebook, YouTube, which we just got over 1,000, thank you, X, TikTok, wherever you scroll, the Villain rolls. Connect with me on all platforms and be part of the takeover, because it is faith, family, and then football in that order. We use football. We don't let football use us and let our emotions get the best of us when we lose. So let's get to it. Good morning to my friends out there. How are you doing? Let's say hello to everybody. Gave some time to get everybody in here. Dwayne's in the house.
Say hello to my little friend.
Got Davey up in the house.
You like that?
That's right. John Herman's in the house.
You just made the list.
Central Scrutinizer's in
You
the
just
house.
made the list.
We got Rick C.
You like that?
We got Paul Jones. I might have said that already.
You
We
like
got
that?
Tyler's in the house.
You like that?
Mark Orlando's in the
You like
house.
that?
I can always count on you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. More than you know. I really do. Because I am just some super fan right here with a microphone. You know, I'm up in my house right here, and, you know, you guys make it possible for me to have work like this. And you don't know how important that is to me. When I say that, it means a lot to me. I have a 6-year-old autistic son, and I don't get to do the type of work. You can't just like leave the house with an autistic son. So the fact that we've worked together with this on here, we've built this page up, and now it's to a point where I can make a little bit of a living, you know, got to work hard, but make a little bit of living here, just sitting here talking football with y'all. And I really appreciate you guys for being part of this with me. We got Gary in the house.
You just made the list.
Is Jones in the lineup? Well, let's talk about that game a little bit. How about these Tigers? Let me see if I can dig up Tigers Game 5 lineup. Because I would admittedly not be as up on the Tigers as I am on the Lions. I'm definitely a bigger Lions fan than I am a Tigers fan. But I am a Tigers fan. So I don't know if they have that out yet. Let me see if they got that up on the site yet. Because it looks like October 12th. Must have one from like last year or something. Anyway. But no, we got Skubal on the mound, baby. We got Skubal on the mound. Is that going to help us? That's the first thing that I want to ask out there. Skubal's record out there isn't very good against the Mariners. I don't even know if he's beaten the Mariners this year. I mean, can Skubal get us to the next round right here? I mean, he's our ace, man. What more would you want as a Tigers fan? That music took a weird turn on me right there. It's supposed to be some chill right there, and all of a sudden I feel like I'm at the club again. So we'll get in there. But Skubal being on the mound, I mean, this is what you want as a Tigers fan. You know, after all of the, the posturing and there's a lot of people who have strong opinions on, what Scott Harris has done or not done during the offseason. And then at the trade deadline, a lot of Tigers fans wanted Scott Harris to go out and get Suarez to add him to the lineup with all his home runs. And I think the reason that they didn't do that is simply because he doesn't hit very much for average. And we already got a lot of those guys that have, some power, and they don't have great batting averages. So what do you think about that, of having Skubal, and he hasn't beaten the Mariners this year? Is this the time? Is he going to, he always pitches well, it seems like. He gave up 2 earned runs in game, I think it was a game 2 that he pitched. You should win that game, right? If you have a pitcher that only gives up 2 runs, you should win that game. Maybe that's just I don't think that's that much of a hot take. You got to win the game. First pitch is at 8:08 p.m. tonight. It's on Fox. If you didn't know it already, or you can listen to it on 97.1 and Ticket. But I don't see. I'm on the Tigers site right now, and I don't see a lineup yet. I don't know if they put that starting lineup in there yet. They haven't put it onto the main page yet. It might be somewhere. So I don't know who they got as far as the lineup goes. I don't know if I have that info yet. So, let's see what we got thoughts in here in the comments on these Tigers right here. Tigers will win today. Matthew.
You just made the list.
Thank you for being on here today, man. I appreciate that. Nick's in the house. The Central. I think he got an MRI this morning. Should be seeing things surface soon.
You just made the list.
Thanks, Nick. Bob's in the house. Skubal is 0-3 versus Seattle.
You just made the list.
And John says it's our ace on the mound. Tigers need to produce runs. This couldn't lay out any better. You guys are awesome in the comments, because this is it right here. Like Bob says, Skubal is 0-3 versus Seattle this year. 0-3 versus Seattle, but the thing is he hasn't had the great run support. Skubal's elite, but if you don't score runs, it's meaningless. Come on, Bats. Come on, Bats. Let's get another performance like we did the other night. They put up 9 runs on the Seattle team. There's no way. You ain't scoring 9 runs on Skubal. We're going to the ALCS. If the Tigers score 9 runs again, they're going. They're going to the ALCS. You can't stop it. You know, out of all the controversy that spiked up because they didn't start Skubal in game 1. And a lot of people were like, well, why wouldn't you start your ace in 1? And honestly, I can still critique that too. The villain's going to critique that too. It's like, why didn't you start your ace? That's the whole idea in there. And then you would have had him in game 4. And, you know, in the way that it worked out, maybe AJ Hinch has got something that he knows that we don't. Because he started him in game 2. They lost that game, but now we're in a tie series and you have your best pitcher available. It's 2-2 in the series and you have your best pitcher available. Get him in there. I mean, as far as like the way that you want it to play out, what more would you want? Get into an elimination game and then have your best pitcher, a guy that you probably want to give the biggest extension of all time. Pay him upwards of $50 million a year for your ace. And I tell you what, if he wins this game, shuts them out, because I think that he's thinking that too. Bob, Skubal 0-3 versus Seattle. You don't think Skubal knows that? I think Skubal's going to pitch well tonight. I just had this feeling. I got a feeling that Skubal's going to be insane. I got a feeling that the Tigers could win this game 1-0. Because I don't think they're going to do anything to Skubal. Now, the bullpen, that might be a different story. So you need to get the bats going. Because the one thing that Skubal doesn't do that this other pitcher that used to pitch for the Tigers named Verlander used to do, Verlander would just like, I'm going all 9 innings. We don't need a closer. I'm just, everybody, you're done. It's Verlander. 9th inning. Done. For some reason, the way that they manage it, they always take Skubal out and, you know, hand the ball to somebody else. Is that because Skubal's arm isn't, you know, as durable as Verlander's, or is that just an AJ Hinch thing? Dwayne Keene says you need to get them bats going and often, and base runners also to score. Yeah, you can't be stranding those guys on the base. Steve says that Skubal hits people in the face.
Acknowledge me.
Yeah. If Skubal hit somebody in the face with one of those 102-mile-an-hour fastballs, that would be a fatality. Yeah, you don't want. That's a crazy thought. Good morning to you, Fred.
You like that?
Good morning. Yeah, I mean, I think that we have everybody in agreement here. You got to be able to hit. Mark said he quit watching baseball after Mark the Bird Trick retired. Skubal hits people in the face. Wasn't that a foul tip though? Well, that's one way to take him out, isn't it, Steve? So, Tigers feeling good. The winner goes to the ALCS. You get in one of them big series. The series that the winner goes to the World Series. So, moving up. Let's move on in here. We got through the Tigers. Looks like you guys are done with the Tigers. Central Scrutinizer said the Brian Branch news is concerning. Yeah, Brian Branch didn't practice, and we don't. That's the last thing that we need is a Brian Branch injury, another injury in the secondary. So let's check that out. I'm looking for an article right here. So I got Detroit Free Press, and this is Dave Burkett. And Brian Branch was scheduled to get an MRI on his injured foot after he was limited in practice Thursday, October 9th, for the second straight day. The Detroit Lions safety worked out on the side individual drills at practice Wednesday and had a noticeable limp as he left the locker room on Thursday. One of the most important defensive players for the Lions, Brian Branch. And he was still limited on Thursday. And across 5 games, Branch has posted 26 tackles, 19 solo, including a sack, 5 pass breakups, and a 97% of the defensive snaps. So that is concerning. We'll have to see what goes on. I don't got anything new on that yet. But the Lions have been in next man up for almost 2 years now, it seems like. The Lions got a whole bunch of guys that can play. I'm not as concerned about that. Honestly, one of the stats that I looked at for this game is the Lions have the best play action offense in the NFL. And the Kansas City Chiefs have the worst play action defense in the NFL. You're talking 1-32. The Chiefs have a hard time stopping the run. And we have 2 of the best running backs in the NFL. So I am concerned about, the offense of the Chiefs because they have Patrick Mahomes. They have dynamic speed playmakers. And it might be more of a high-scoring game if our defense struggles. But I am not worried about their defense stopping our offense. Their defense is not good right now. I mean, especially when you're giving up the run. You're giving up run. And we have 2 of the best. Adam says he's praying for Brian Branch. So what is your concern level on Brian Branch on a scale of 1 to 11? Because we don't do 10, we do 11 because we do it bigger. We do it better here on the Villain Report. Always one better. Mark says Lions 27, Chiefs 23. Ball control will be the name of the game. I like that call.
You like that?
Because Dan Campbell always talks about playing complementary football. And one of the things that was the critiques on what is going on with the Chiefs right now is they're not playing complementary football. If their offense is doing good, their defense is suffering. If their defense is doing good, then the offense is struggling. And they can't. You got to have them all work together. I mean, it sounds easy. It sounds like it's one of those things that you could just do. But you got to play complementary football. Your three phases of the games have to be able to lift each other up because, I mean, let's face it, they're not always going to be good. It's not always going to be, registering at a high level. Like, it's so funny. I put up these posts onto the Villain Squad Facebook page, and we get these trolls in there. And it's like, especially when it comes to like guys like Jared Goff. I put a stat post up, and I put posts up every week, by the way. There's new power rankings every week. There's new leaders and statistics every week, and I post them. Sometimes it favors the Lions, sometimes it doesn't. Right now, it happens to be favoring the Lions. Right now, we're number 1 in the power rankings. Right now, Jared Goff is the best quarterback in the NFL. It doesn't make me a homer by just telling you what the facts are. That's what it is right now. But it's so many people, especially when it comes to guys like Jared Goff, they want to bring up, games from a couple years ago while glossing over all the games. I mean, they won 15 games last year. I understand the Buffalo game wasn't a good game because it was a game that they lost. Goff threw 5 interceptions in that Houston Texans games. Yeah, but they won the game. He also orchestrated the game-winning drive. I mean, you could go to any quarterback in the NFL, and you can go back and find their dud game. Patrick Mahomes just had a pick 6 that cost them the game yesterday. Does that make him a bad quarterback? No. So it's really funny, people getting triggered, being like, you can't, what do you mean, Goff, not an elite quarterback? It's like his numbers say that he's elite. Yeah, but it's everybody else. He's got such a good team around him and everything. He didn't always have a good team around him. But yet he wins all the time. He won with 2 teams. Built up from nothing. You're just a hater. Goff's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Rick ain't worried. He says, I'll wait to see what Dan has to say about Brian Branch. Dude's tough. So I'm not going to overreact. This is a great comment right here. Here's a fun fact. Hutch has more sacks wiped out by penalty than Micah Parsons has so far this season. Oh, he also adds, pound the rock, control the clock, keep Kansas City offense on the bench, and don't turn it over. We got this. Yes, Rick C. Al-Quadin Muhammad also has more sacks than Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons got that one sack that he had on Dak Prescott when he gained a yard. That seems like the NFL wants Micah Parsons to be more than what he is. Because I think he's a great pass rushing specialist. But I think that Green Bay is going to regret that contract because he's a pass rushing specialist. He can't set an edge. He can't set an edge. That's right. More than Parsons. More than Parsons. So let's look at I'm going to look and see when Dan Campbell's talking today. And we're going to figure this out. I think that he's speaking today. He usually talks on Friday, I thought. Maybe not. See if it got something there. Yep, nothing. I don't know when Dan Campbell's going to talk on this. I thought today was maybe tomorrow's the travel day. Mr. Loop, what's up, buddy?
You just made the list!
Glad to see you on here. Look at the Bengals without Joe Burrow. They are no longer a good offense. So if you take Jared Goff out of our offense, may change. That is how you know he is elite. He is elite. Goff is elite. I mean, I don't know what to tell anybody. The only people that would say that Goff isn't elite are haters. He's been elite for 3 years. And we've had to toe this line. And I'm not doing it anymore, by the way. Goff is an elite quarterback. He's top 5 in the league. I don't care what anybody says. I've spent 2 years with him being elite, putting up elite numbers over and over and over and over again. And I had to listen to people. Well, it's the people around. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Oh, but what about that one game? No. 15 games he won last year with no defense. So don't give it to me anymore. I don't care. I don't care. Happy Friday to everybody. Becca's in the house.
You just made the list!
Great to see you on here. And Aiden Hutchinson, let's talk about the certified problem. Like you just brought up right there in that comment how Aiden Hutchinson has 3 sacks that were taken off. You know, one of them was a safety taken off by penalties. Now, I'm not whining about the penalty. So calm down. I'm not crying about the penalty here. But to bring up the point that through 5 games in 2025, Hutch is putting up some league on notice numbers. He's tied for first in total pressures with 31. He's second in forced fumbles with 3, third in sacks with 5, and it would be 8 if people would just that's crazy. That would definitely be first. And he's landed a QB hit in 20 straight games. That's the longest active streak in the NFL. They're going to pay this guy. They need to pay this guy. Get up there and get that contract done for Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, the defense is just different when Aiden Hutchinson is out there. I mean, he literally makes everybody better. So one of the reasons that I believe that we're going to be just fine without whoever. Aiden Hutchinson is the key cog to the system. And if you're bringing back Aleem McNeil too, you're gonna build that defense around that. You're gonna have everybody else in the game plan playing roles. And Aiden Hutchinson is a bona fide leader on this team. We still got Jack Campbell. We still got our strong linebackers. Ooh, that's a good hot take right here. Hutch could realistically win MVP. The league loves that dude. If he keeps playing the way that he's playing, I mean, the Chiefs are struggling. You look at that game, it's like they don't have that same, relentless fire where it seems like they can pull a win out of the jaw of defeat. The 14 seconds of Mahomes. That team doesn't seem like it's here anymore. The Magic Mahomes Mystery Tour. It doesn't seem like it's here anymore. Now, will he pull that out against? I mean, great players find ways out of ruts. But I think it would be crazy to see the Chiefs fall to 2-4. I think the Chiefs falling to 2-4 would be good for the league. Travis Kelce does not look like the same tight end. Sam Laporta is a better tight end than Travis Kelce at this point in the career. Dan Skipper, baby. Whatever it is you're doing over there, Dan. What are you doing? What are you doing, Dan? You're going to throw up. Dan Skipper's back.
You like that?
Come on. Bring back Danny Boy. Dan Skipper. He's like the new Tom Kennedy. He's the Tom Kennedy of the offensive line. He's the UDFA. He's the Russell Wayne of offensive line play. The UDFA of sports podcasting. I love the grinders. I love the grinders. Get them grinders out there. Dan Skipper, baby. I mean, I think that the Chiefs might be in trouble. Maybe the Lions are in trouble. But the Chiefs need this game a hell of a lot more than the Lions do. So what are your thoughts? We have a great lineup of sports in the 313 this weekend. Game 5 tonight. Elimination. Everything on the line for the Detroit Tigers. Skubal on the mound. It doesn't get any better than that. And then Sunday Night Football. Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead against your Detroit Lions. Forward down the field. You gotta like that. It doesn't get any better than that. Hey, Hey, there's nothing that's more valid than Packer skepticism. Oh, go figure. The Packer fan doesn't believe that Hutchinson can do it. Defensive Player of the Year, but not MVP. You're probably right. You're probably right. Defensive players don't normally win MVP. That's just not one of those things. Oh, Mark Orlando's trying to type with a 6-month-old Rory trying to eat my face. You got the kitty cats in the house. I like it. I like it. The Doctor of Thugonomics. Did you see last night? Let's talk about this. This is a good topic. Thank you, Steve. While we're going into it, something a little bit off there. We saw that tush push last night, and the guards moved before the ball snapped. False start. Like, I don't mind that the tush push is in there. You know, I'm glad that Dan Campbell stood up to the league and was like, it's not the league's responsibility to stop the tush push. Oh, but it's illegal. It should be illegal. Yes, quit crying. Shut up, Parsons. Shut up, Parsons. It shouldn't. Quit crying. Stop it. Stop the tush push. It shouldn't be up to the league to stop it. It should be up to the defenses to stop it. Don't be crying about it. Now, to your point right here, Doctor of Thugonomics, I don't think that the guards should be able to false start while they do the foot tush push. They need to start penalizing the Philadelphia Eagles for that. They do. I mean, I understand it's unstoppable play and everything like that, but if that guard's moving his hand before the ball snapped, that's a 5-yard penalty. And guess what? That stopped the tush push. So, great point, Steve. I did see that, and that part. Stop letting them false start. It's a hard play to stop. They're still trying to figure out how to stop. Don't give them any more advantages. And Steve, why do you keep on saying Skubal doesn't hit people in the face? He pitches the ball, and then the bunter foul tipped the ball into his own face. So Skubal didn't hit himself in the face. He hit himself in the face. The batter hit himself in the face with his bat. Let's go, Tigers.
You've had enough of that shit.
Let's go, Tigers.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
Let's go, Tigers.
You like that?
The Chiefs lose at home, the media would be having an aneurysm. They probably would, but the media needs to get on top of this. The media has been making excuses for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and their bad play for the last 5 weeks. Like, you know, I'm not complaining about this, but it's not like the Lions could go through that type of losing without getting crucified in the media. The Lions do need to send them to 2-4 so the media can start reporting it correctly. He's not doing good. It doesn't look good. He's overthrowing people. He's underthrowing people. He's not accurate. This is not the same Chiefs team. Dwayne Keem says Joe Flacco could beat the Packers again for the second time this season. Who taking it? Packers or Bengals? Well, the Packers are going to win that game. The Bengals are not good. The Bengals are not good. The Browns have a good defense. The Browns took advantage of the Packers, but the Bengals do not have a defense like the Browns do. So, Dwayne, I know that it would be really, really funny, but you know what? I will come on here. If the Packers lose to the Bengals and Joe Flacco for the second time, you and I are going to have a laugh on here together, Dwayne. It makes me giddy just thinking about it, but the Packers are not going to lose to the Bengals. This is just set up for a perfect, great game by Jordan Love. The defense is going to be able to just suffocate Joe Flacco, who's had all of a week to get ready for the Packers. So, I mean, that's a pipe dream. That's a pipe dream. What a glorious dream that would be, though. That would be awesome.
You like that?
Thank you for that comment. MVP is a massive mountain for a defensive player, but defensive player of the year and comeback player of the year are very likely. Super Bowl MVP, on the other hand, let's go. Man, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves right here, but man, that is a massive mountain. If I had to make a villain verdict on this, I think that it's very likely that he wins one of those things that you brought up. I don't think he'll win two. If he wins the MVP, I don't think he'll get Defensive Player of the Year. If he wins Comeback Player of the Year, I don't think he'll win Defensive Player of the Year. Does that happen very often? Can anybody do some research for me? How often has a player won two of these big awards like that, like Defensive Player of the Year? The Super Bowl MVP, that's possible. That's probably more possible. It's like MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, or Comeback Player of the Year added with Super Bowl MVP. But those first three, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Comeback Player, I would think that he would only win one of those. I don't know. Check out my stats right there. I don't know. Somebody could look that up for me and type that in there. Has anybody done that? One Comeback Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, or MVP and Defensive Player of the Year? How many times has that happened? Central Scrutinizer said Eagles are offside on that play half of the time. I mean, I don't mind them doing the play, but they need to call it right. They can't let them get away with going early and everything. They should have had replay assist. I'm watching that last night and I'm like, why isn't replay assist, hopping in there and making it a penalty? Are they not allowed to do that with the replay assist? Because he obviously jumped off sides. False start. Are they allowed to do that with replay assist? They should. When they're making obvious fouls like that. And what about the Eagles anyway? I mean, the Eagles just dropped the game to the Giants. What's wrong with the Eagles? They definitely don't look like the same team. And don't hit me with injuries, folks. Don't hit me with the injuries. After all the injuries last year, I wasn't allowed to use injuries at all last year. Don't hit me with injuries. I didn't have Queen Andrew, so I Shut up. Quiet.
You've had enough of that shit.
I want to hear that crying. I don't want to hear that crying. Quit whining. Paul Jones says the Packers lose. I'll buy a Flacco jersey. Mark Orlando said, didn't realize that Flacco played the Packers 5 times this season. But Flacco can pad his legacy. The Schipple Show. Man's over here stealing thumbnails from Woodward. Where's my thumbnail from Woodward? Where's my thumbnail from Woodward? What, you talking about the Dan Campbell? I mean, I made this thing. Yeah, I take pictures from other places. Woodward steals stuff from me too, and I busted him on it. You know, you got to screen record some of these replays and stuff. And I busted them. I busted them because I saw my villain logo down at the bottom of one of their cuts. So Woodward is one of those corporate people. They're backed by the corporate entities. So that's even more pathetic. I'm me by myself. You want to call me out? Man over here stealing thumbnails from Woodward. How lame that is, calling me out for that. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Coaches have to complain about it. Eagles lost Ben Johnson or Kellen Moore, right? I think the Bengals have a chance against the Packers. Paul Jones, Green Bay's missing half of their defense. And Chase Higgins are ready to eat. Ooh, that's a hot take right there. You calling that out? Detroit Fan Man says, but Russ, was that a good Giants team last night or just failure of a now mediocre Philly defense? Well, just based on what I saw last night, that does look like, I think the answer to that question is yes. I think the answer to that question is yes, because I do think that the Giants team is a lot better and Jackson Dart is a real quarterback. But I also think that Philadelphia's defense isn't as good, and personnel does have something to do with that. But I think it's a little bit of both, honestly. I'm sure Eagles fans are blaming their injuries on defense. That excuse didn't fly for us last season. Yeah, I'm not listening to it. I'm not listening to any of those type of critiques. And I'm not listening to the critiques of these little Woodward guys coming into my comments and calling me out for using their thumbnails. I'm a wrestling fan, okay? So I'm gonna put this to you nice and blunt right there. Yes, I took that. I cropped out the Dan Campbell and the Patrick Mahomes. I took that from a site called Lions Nation Unite. And I think that's a group. And I took it, I cropped out those 2 pictures, and I added those pictures to my show today because I'm a wrestling fan. And I like that. And if anything, I'm going to give you credit for it, Lions Nation Unite. But you don't own WWE and you don't own the NFL. And with 1,000 pages covering the Detroit Lions, big bad Woodward Sports is going to come on here and call me out, the little guy. They're going to call out the UDFA. What? You guys don't have enough corporate followers that Woodward's got to call out the villain? I'm just a fan here. You guys got paid people. You got Braylon Edwards and Darren McCarty and all these great people on there. Don't call me out. You got a paid roster of names. You got graphics artists that you hire. It's just me, baby. I'm the only one here. I don't submit to help anymore. I do it myself. And as a matter of fact, I've built a pretty nice platform here. And I like Woodward Sports. And I'm sure that it's not somebody from Woodward that's calling me out. But I do think that's a pretty good graphic that I made right there. And Mark Orlando brings up the point right here. Lions Nation Unite belongs to Herman Moore using local podcasters. And you can say that, Rick. I won't say that because I don't need to say that. I definitely don't need to say that. I don't need to run down Woodward. But you can. That's fine. Because I'm not telling you to say that. And when Woodward does stuff like that, your reaction may be to say that Woodward sucks. And you're entitled to that. And I'm not even coming back on you at all, Rick. God bless you for that, for having that opinion. I mean, that does seem like a corporate type of thing to do, doesn't it? Oh, we only have 200,000 followers. We got to squash all the little guys trying to do it too. You know, I look at the page like a bulletin board, right? I go through the internet and there's thousands of people's posts and ideas and stuff, and I find ones that I like, and then I share them on my bulletin board of the Villain Squad. You know, the posts that I find that, you know, kind of fit my personality. And whenever I see anything wrestling or, you know, that has like, you know, I got a quirky sense of humor. I like being able to do that. Like this one. Ooh, yeah. It's the Macho Man Randy Savage talking about, yeah, the 313 Villain Squad, yeah, the UDFA, Sports Podcasting, yeah. Get on YouTube. Yeah, 313 Villain. We're driving out to Kansas City. We're on our way. Driving to Kansas City. Once we get there, yeah, dig it. We're going to go climb up on the top rope. Yeah, see Andy Reid in the middle of the ring. Yeah, drop the Macho Man elbow. Yeah. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Yeah, dig it. If you down with the Detroit Lions, give me a hell yeah. You know, sometimes you're out there and you don't know what to put into the comments. I don't know if I want to ask any questions to the villain today. Then just type in hell yeah. If you're a fan of Detroit sports, give me a hell yeah. Write in those comments. Or I'm going to send Donald Schwarzenegger. He's coming. He's coming to get you. Come on. You can watch the Villain Report. You can watch the Villain Report. 10 a.m. on the weekdays. Come on, do it. Do it now. Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Come on. Get to the chopper. We're going to Kansas City. How dare you doubt Donald Schwarzenegger? The 313 Villain Squad. You can connect with us. Like, comment, and share if you're a fan of Detroit sports and you want to connect. Wherever you scroll, the villain rolls. Thank you for being part of the Friday show. Detroit's doubleheader. This is a doubleheader of grit this weekend. Whatever happens tonight, remember, this city doesn't flinch. If the Tigers pull it off, let's celebrate it. Skubal proved that he's not just an ace, he's a franchise pillar. If Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter, Wencel Perez came through in the clutch, those aren't just stats. That's the heart of a team that refused to fold when everybody counted them out. Detroit baseball isn't rebuilding anymore. It's reloading. And if they come up short, well, that's okay too, because teams with this kind of fight, they don't just disappear. They refocus, they reload, and remember. Ask anyone who's ever been from this city. Detroit doesn't stay down long. And then there's the Lions. Maybe we walked in the Arrowhead and made a statement. Maybe we stumbled and showed the whole world what kind of team we are. Either way, the message is clear. This ain't the same old Lions. This is the Dan Campbell Army built with grit, built on grit, built on belief, and built on bad intentions. The villain theory remains simple. The Lions, the NFL's not ready for what's coming out of Detroit. So whether you're riding high or licking your wounds tonight, stand tall, Detroit, because faith, family, and football aren't just words here. They're a lifestyle. We rise together, we fall together. And no matter what, we fight till there's something. We fight until there's nothing left to fight for. This has been the Villain Report live. And as always, remember who told you first. And may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again in Jesus' name. Amen. It's faith, family, then football. In that order. Youth football. Spend time with your family. And if we lose, don't let football use you. God bless you guys. See you tomorrow for the prediction show. Peace out.
You just made the list!
You've had enough of that shit.